And now full stop.
Yeah.
Ray, I see you found the longer play version than the one you were showing us earlier. Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah. Oh man, we got to figure out a fade out on that.
We do. I was really enjoying I was sort of like rocking out to it. I hadn't rocked out to it in a while because it's a damn good intro, and then also just. Oh yeah, that's right. We're doing a show now. Whatever.
We're doing a show now.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we got 0 views right now, so that's awesome. That's
nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. Because we always advertise our going live quite, voraciously, whatever. There's a word there. There's a noun. There's an adjective. Things are said.
I may need to move your position away from me so you don't start picking up my vernacular.
Dude, I'm seriously swear to God, like when we sit next to each other, this is what happens.
I know. What do you want me to do?
I don't know, but you're looking the wrong way.
Yeah, you're looking the wrong way
on the stream.
No, I'm going back to that side because I want to see the wall. Oh my God.
Welcome to Vagabond Nerds, everybody.
Well, it's been a little bit. It's been a bit, which we knew it was going to be. Quick hits. How's everyone doing? Everyone surviving the COVID? Jason?
Yeah, sort of.
Are you feeling better, Jason?
Yeah, no, I'm feeling better. And we'll know if it's the COVID on Monday, maybe Tuesday. But yeah, no, I feel really good. I was feeling kind of worn down yesterday, but no, I'm good.
Okay, it's good to know that you're not dying on us. So
I'm in his life insurance, so
yeah, I am heavily insured.
No, I'm kind of,
Ray, I don't think you're that close. I don't
think Christy, it's okay. It's almost time.
I don't think you're that close on the life insurance policy to Christy or the kids. So
you would think that, but yeah. We have the plan.
Should I check? Should I double check that? Is that what you're saying?
Christy, Eagle 1. Eagle 1.
Ray, you probably shouldn't be advertising this kind of thing online on a stream for everyone to see.
Sean, all for show.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Good times.
Yeah, right. Good times. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, Jason doesn't have.
Yeah, we really do. I mean, in all seriousness, I don't think you do, man. But certainly.
And the lady who decided to perform an Egyptian mummification ritual on me.
She tickled that frontal lobe. Is that what you're saying?
My occipital lobe, yeah. It's like it went all the way to the back.
Like they have it's huge.
Yeah, it is not.
It goes straight in your face. If you've ever seen them do it, like I kind of go, it makes me want to cough or sneeze watching that.
Dude, like Christy's had a couple of kids that she tutors. Of course, everything's on Zoom now or whatever. So they were talking to them, like some of these kids have had to have these COVID tests. They would talk about how they were crying because it was so bad.
Well,
now I only cried for like 10 minutes. So
I cried for like 10 minutes.
I love my son so quickly.
I would hope you do. He's your son.
He had to. It depends on the day. But the school is all the schools, and rightfully so, are very much set on the fact that any little thing, we want him tested. And so he, unfortunately, did do that. I'm looking at Jeremy right now. Jeremy, I don't know. But he had to, of course, have the test because of the school regulations and everything. And he laughed. It tickled him. And like even the nurses, when they were seeing him, they're like, son, this is going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to hurt. And he just started, get it out. It's tickling me. And like the nurse looks at, and it's like, what is wrong with your child? I'm like, that's my son.
So many things.
Yeah, I would little psychopath, short and stout. Here is Campbell. Here is nice.
Wow.
We were. I love it because we were going to ease into the interview, and now I kind of want to just jump right in because Jeremy, I hope you're staying throughout so you can ask the most inappropriate questions ever.
Which, by the way, Vagabond Nerds is brought to you by
thank you.
Shore and Titan Comics. If you guys weren't aware of that already,
there should be a ticker running at the bottom of the screen, right?
Should be there should be like that.
Like that.
There we go.
Right? There we go. I don't know who's on the freaking thing today, but they're an idiot.
Mm.
But anyway, go see
They will be
Titan.
sacked.
I was just there this past weekend. Thank you for not being there, Jeremy. I didn't want to talk to you anyway, I guess.
Jesus.
But they have some of the best comic. What's the word we want to look at, Jason? Go ahead and say it. The purveyor of
Paraphernalia, purveyor of fine comic accoutrement, and
there we go.
Accoutrement.
another accoutrement, and another geek paraphernalia, right?
Frivolities.
Yes.
Yes.
Seriously though,
in a good way.
Yeah.
Good frivolities.
Titan is a store you could get lost in for hours looking and of course buying whatever you need to buy when it comes to comics. So go check out
It
Jeremy.
happened to Ray once. Yeah, happened to Ray. He couldn't see over the shelves. It was very, very disorienting.
We had to send
I got
Sherpas
lost in the maze.
after him.
Yeah. Want to guess which one of us was the Sherpa?
Hey, Bruce, how you doing, man?
Quickly, as before we get to our main, I don't know what he is. Anyway.
Well, yeah, we got an interview today.
We do.
And Jason's got somewhere to be, so
yeah,
we need to kind of speed that along. Jason, thank you for kind of joining us this morning. I appreciate you jumping on before we have the guests and everything.
No,
I love it.
I appreciate y'all coming. Y'all having me on here for a little bit. But yeah, I do got to go do another show. Y'all be good.
Cool.
Thanks.
Cool.
Appreciate that. Jeremy just posted that he's got the mother of all trade paperback collections, apparently, that he just purchased. Jeremy saved me a spot in the list, but so really quick,
excellent.
They just cast She-Hulk. They just cast Miss Marvel.
Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk, which I'm a big fan of hers from it's not Black Mirror. I'm trying to remember the name of the show she's on where she does she plays all the different clones of herself. If you guys haven't seen that.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a really good one.
What's the name of the show?
I don't know. It's Black something or something Black.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, it's a BBC show. It was on. They had it like right with Doctor Who. So yeah,
it was very, very good.
Point being, another good casting choice by Marvel.
Oh yeah, excellent choice.
The one that threw me, Orphan Black. Thank you.
Orphan Black.
Thank you.
That's what it is.
Orphan Black. That's what it was.
And most recently on Perry Mason, the HBO series that shows Perry Mason's origin. Which, if you haven't seen that, phenomenal. That's a good short run of episodes. So.
On my list. Jamie Foxx in talks to play Electro again.
Returning as Electro for that.
Has already said it's not going to be the Max Dillon, which is of course was the pre-Electro name for the villain. He won't be Blue. That's already been talked about. So. Is it just, guys, we had a great casting choice and we want to do it right? Because, Kevin Feige's known to do that. Like, hey, let's, you're great in it, but your source material sucked, and let's be honest. So is that the case, or are we looking at a potential Spider-Verse in live action?
You know what? I think the fans. I think you have the opportunity for both, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
You can have the fans going to your what you just pointed out. We could say, you know what? This is a nod to the fact that the other Spider-Verses exist. We've already seen Into the Spider-Verse, and now you've got this character. Which, by the way, this isn't the first time we've seen live action play into that. We had the end of the last Spider-Man, Far From Home. I forgot his name. Jonah.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. He basically made a cameo, and that was a great nod to Raimi's original, cast for him. And so I think this would just be a continuation of that. But I think it's pretty cool. I didn't realize that's what they were doing, and I think that's fascinating. That they're going to do that.
It'll be interesting to see.
Definitely.
I hope. I think
I'd actually like to see him I would like to see him in an Electro costume. I think that would be awesome. The yellow and green, some sort of some sort of variant. It doesn't have to be full flamboyant mask, but
again, some sort of slight nod to the comics.
Yeah.
Yeah, just something there. I mean, Lord knows that we've been getting better at it and what we can do. So I'd be happy to see that. Jason, I understand you're pinging me on the background that you got to go.
Yeah,
So
I
we're
do.
gonna let you go and drop you.
Hmm.
Sorry about that, bud.
It's been
Good
fun,
luck.
guys. See y'all later.
All right.
See you, dude.
So Sean,
All
we are now going to interview our guest.
Yep.
Who's coming up? New author and illustrator for
Well,
Metro.
I
Go ahead.
was going to say, I wouldn't specifically say new. I mean, as far as I understand it, he's got a couple of works in his catalog already. It's just this would probably be his first fully published work. First fully published work.
Right,
so
right.
Pretty excited to have him on. Yeah.
So author and illustrator for the upcoming Metroplex Monsters, Jason McLean.
Jason McLean.
Jason,
Hello,
welcome
sir.
to the show.
Welcome to the
Thank
show,
you, guys.
sir.
How are you?
Thank you for joining
Great.
us. Great to have you here.
No, I really appreciate it. It's first time, long time.
Good to have you here. Thank you, sir, for gracing us. And that means a lot. I appreciate that you listen. That's really cool. We appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Well, y'all are a great show. I'm usually one of the three on that you can see live. Most Saturdays when I'm not doing something. But yeah,
when you're not dying from the vid.
When I'm not dying from the vid. But no, I like the show. I appreciate y'all bringing me on.
Nobody likes the show. Bruce is even saying that he doesn't like the show, which you can't argue with Bruce. Jeremy's on because he wants to make sure that trade paperback collection gets off the ground.
Hey, he's got a reason. He's got an investment. He's trying to make sure that investment pays dividends. I completely understand.
Oh my God, I'm sure he's thinking I could throw a comic book outside and attract more fish than these guys. So hey,
probably
we're going to talk to you today, and it is fun and weird because Jason, we have obviously known that you've been working on this book. I know I have personally known about this for quite some time, so I was ecstatic to see where this is coming out. But because we are going to treat you like an interview, and this should be fun. Sean, do you want first question, bud?
Yeah, man. I'll start in the obvious place. I think so. I think I'll start with the first question.
That's what she said.
Okay, so I hope so.
Yeah.
All right, so Jason,
Sean,
when did you start writing books? Or at least let's let me rephrase. When did you start writing, and what was it you started doing when you wrote things?
I'm seriously gonna move you away from me, Sean.
Yeah, let's switch
dude,
it around because it's getting worse.
Whenever we sit next to each other, this always happens.
Go ahead and switch this around because this is not working out.
Jason, when did you start writing, and what was it you wrote?
I actually started off writing short stories, but I've probably around junior high is when I realized I could do some legitimate writing. I won't say it was very good, but it was fun.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, short stories featuring what? Like, are you talking fantasy stuff? Was it adventure, or was it crime novels?
Mostly fantasy adventure stuff. Nothing sci-fi. But yeah, over time though, I realized that I really enjoyed sort of writing more. I don't want to say technical, but
like not Isaac Asimov,
informative, right? Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I'm not. Okay. Yeah, I was never going to be Asimov or Heinlein, but I did really get into reading some other books that were more nonfiction and sort of played off of that. You could marry the two styles. You could be short and pithy, but then you can also be informative at the same time.
Short and pithy. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. Ray, he's describing you to a T.
I was going to say that's actually on my Tinder profile.
It's on his Tinder. It's on his Tinder profile.
Ladies, that's short, pithy. 1, 2, 3.
That's good.
But,
yeah.
Well, so interesting though. A little known thing. I started writing more in earnest when I started doing editorial cartoons and editorials for some of the smaller papers here in the region. Right, first with the Today newspaper, and then with Suburban. So that's sort of what really prompted me to really move forward with a lot of this, and here we are.
With, a short 10 years later.
Yeah, Metroplex Monsters. Yeah, that's cool, man. I can see it. I can see it pop up on Amazon, and it's on Barnes and Noble's pre-order list.
Yep.
I know you've got a bunch of copies that you're going to be doing some signings and stuff, right? Some live.
Speaking of October 31st, we will be at the aforementioned Titan Comics, doing some selling and signing. So yeah, if you want to order it off of Amazon, Barnes & Noble, that's fine. But since you're watching, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and you want to scroll by Jeremy's shop on Halloween during the day, I'll be there. One of these other knuckleheads may show up to throw garbage at me or whatever, but I know
it's
I'll
not going to be
definitely
just
there.
garbage. Not just garbage. Jason, who is Jason McLean, and why did he pick this book? Why did you think I need to talk about the Metroplex monsters? What was who are you?
You know what? I don't know that.
Did I show up at the wrong interview? Or was this guy just really deep?
Yeah, I was like, who are you? What have you done with Raymond Perez?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, so again, Jason McLean is really a mystery wrapped within an enigma. He's this convoluted Gordian knot of self contradictions, but really, I think the bigger answer there is that Metroplex Monsters picked me. In many ways, it really is a summation. It's a love letter. Really, what it is a love letter to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Yeah, I get to talk about the monsters. I can talk about the weird things people see in the area, and the fact that there's lots of people don't even talk about. I know I never thought about it.
A love letter. Yeah. To weird things and
well, no, not just weird, but specifically DFW, because what I am able to do in the book is I kind of sneak it in. There's a lot of little stories that I get to tell, right, about how and where Dallas and Fort Worth are coming from, when they were founded, some of the people who encountered these things, and sort of weave them all together.
Spoilers, Mr. McLean. Spoilers.
Like well-known historical figures, or
actually, I mean some, yes, but mostly less well-known. A lot of the people who like I do talk a little bit about Hell's Half Acre out in Fort Worth. So yeah, I mean I have to mention the big gunfighters and all that. Mm-hmm. But I throw a few other names in there. Some of the people who actually helped to shape these things. Same thing with Dallas. A lot of people don't even know who the McComases were anymore, right? In their impact on Dallas. We don't get to talk about how T.I. really changed Dallas. How did we go from being?
Yeah.
Yes, the rapper.
Interesting.
Yeah. But things like this, like Grand Prairie, right? Like its original name was Deckman. And I get to talk about why it went from
a lot of boxing matches during those times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, but I can talk about how it got from there to there. I can talk about the populism, the political movement populism comes out of Cleburne, right? From around the turn of the century. It's things like that. I get to talk about Italy, and I get to talk about cities that don't even exist anymore, like Ensign. Ellis, on Ellis County. Ennis completely consumed it. Like there's a lot of small.
Baracho is no longer a town either. That's actually just a post stop at this point.
I used to know some citizens from there.
I know, so did I. They were good guys. They were
like
good
them.
guys. Yeah, I haven't seen them in a while. Bad. They're good guys though. Uh-huh.
Yeah, miss them.
Me too. Mm-hmm. They were good folks though. So, all right, Jason, let's move on to. I have some other pressing questions. So, all right. So, at what point did you first realize that your husband Ted was cheating on you, and what effect did that have on your struggles with depression?
Really, from the very beginning.
Whoa! Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Hold on. Hold on. I think I have the wrong question. No. Yeah. Sorry, that's for Sylvia Plath. My bad. I'm sorry. Very sorry about that. Hold on, that's throwing me off. Ray, can you take the next question? I'm a little lost in my notes here. I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
Yeah, sure. Jason, at what point did you decide Bigfoot was the way to go? In all seriousness, you have, I guess for lack of a better term, you have a bunch of wackadoos out there claiming to see stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So what made these particular wackadoos believable. And I gotta imagine these are at best claims as opposed to truths.
So this is where things get interesting, right? Not all, not don't get me wrong. There are some really messed up people who claim all kinds of things, right? For example, it doesn't make it into the book, but there's this really weird dude who called me back a couple months back claiming to see something and in the sky, and I was like, wow, that's one weird nutcase. But that being said, there are a lot of people who are genuinely credible people, right? But
hold on, McLean. What makes a credibility in a subject matter like this?
So the first half of this is, when you start off with like Sasquatch, you deal with the fact that you have the Lake Worth monster, right? That event really shapes both a lot of it really reshapes the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex in a mythological sense, and it has a huge impact. And I talk about that, about how the impact it sort of had mythologically and in reshaping urban legends. So a lot of these things are just urban legends, and we talk about them as urban legends. There's nothing more than that, and really is urban legends that are indicative of changing culture. But when we talk about that event specifically, what we have is, it was back in the 60s, right? For those who don't know, there was a Sasquatch, what is believed to be a Sasquatch, sighted at Lake Worth out there in Fort Worth. It was seen by dozens of people, including police officers, all at the same time. So we have groups of people seeing this thing, reporting it to the police. We have the police seeing it, them being run off by it. So there's a number of credible eyewitnesses to this. Then we have the eyewitnesses from Cedar Hill, right? That sort of sparked their Goatman mythology. And later that summer, it was the same summer, two individuals the people who knew them at the time, and again, these were well-respected people in the community. One of them being a firefighter, the other one being a couple that everyone had known. So props to the Cedar Hill Historical Society on that one. But so there are, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of people that I'm like, okay, whatever. These are not credible sightings, but there are a ton of people who are. Yeah, I mean, let's face it.
I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, Sean's sitting here drinking. My Irish coffee has gone away, and we're talking about credibility.
Oh no, I never pretended any of us had credibility.
Well,
I borrow credibility.
I will say, the Goatman story, like, Jason, when I mentioned your book to my in-laws, he mentioned to me, oh yeah, the Goatman. I've heard of him before. So I mean, it's like, I think it's more well known than our generation is aware of, which I think is really cool that you brought it out, and it's coming forward again, and more people are going to get to read about it and experience it. Because I know I have a lot of people and friends on my circles who find this kind of stuff fascinating. If it's not necessarily them believing in it, it's at least them finding it interesting to read about.
Right, and that's the thing, right? Is that I do try and play into, is that there's a lot of there's sort of a bigger question that's posed within the book, which is people are seeing things, right? That's regardless, but there's also this interplay of urban legend, right, in mythology, and I get to separate a lot of this and sort of point out as a hold up. A lot of this stuff's just urban legend, but they're urban legends that go back thousands of years, right? And in some way, we can see the creation of these things. There are people who have seen what are called La Lechuza, right? It's basically a giant owl with a woman's face. Okay, we can believe that or not. Well, yeah, yes, you did. But that being said, but the thing is that mythology also ties into the harpies of
she was. Greeks.
Yeah. Same thing so again, the Goatman. Why that's so interesting? Like, we have the Lake Worth event, right? It is very clearly more or less described as a Sasquatch, but later on we have these other, and the thing is that the assigning of the name Goatman by Jim Mars, the reporter, makes every other event later on, Sasquatch event, labeled Goatman. But then there's this other mythology that springs out of it. Now let's talk about Old Alton Bridge, right? Which is Goatman's Bridge for those.
This is all in your book, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you don't want to give everything away.
Believe I haven't even scratched. Yeah.
Because I mean,
Spoilers.
Forgive me for being so presumptuous, but I would think that you would hope that some people who might be here watching this would go out and buy your book for some of these fantastic tales,
Oh,
or at least
absolutely.
the hints that you provide of these fantastic.
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't even scratched the surface of this, but it's the interplay of the mythology with these sightings, and then how these things grow and evolve.
Well, Sean, did you? And I'm going to Sean now. But did you ever realize, growing up, would you hear some of these stories? Because like Goat Man, for me, that was part of the hand-me-down urban legend story that we all heard growing up, and even going into high school, there was always a report of a new Goat Man thing down in Cedar Hill. Be careful of going down Lebanon Road, because you would see it, and if you park there, the same old, crap, oh, don't lose your virginity on that road with Goat Man, they'll haunt you forever.
I would say I was at a bit of a disadvantage. My family moved here when I was 1 or 2, so they didn't grow up with a lot of that history. So what I heard was from any of my friends hanging out, or their parents hanging out, about just random things in the area, and it was the normal stuff, alligators in whatever creek or sewer or lake or whatever, and then but I mean, specific other than some Sasquatch sightings, but I never heard to it referred as Goat Man. It wasn't until I'd heard Jason mention it that I just never heard of that. But again,
that's because he looks like him. Like that's why he's writing on this.
No, didn't
firsthand,
move here until
firsthand Sasquatchian.
Anyways,
yeah.
Not Saskatchewan, but Sasquatchian.
Yes, you got
very important distinction there.
Yeah, you got it. Emphasis on the syllable.
Right. Well, no, you've actually flipped some words around, Ray. You're used to doing that. You know how that works.
Well, not today. That's all on you.
I guess, man. Sweet Jesus.
All right, Sean, I'm going to throw it back to you for your next follow-up question for Slow.
Okay. All right. So, again, Jason, my apologies. I had some notes mixed up. I'm really sorry about that.
Okay, it's fine.
So, did you find it a challenge to both write and illustrate the book?
The challenge was not in doing the writing and illustrating. It was in not having it suck as badly as it could.
It's a fairly honest answer to the question.
And a quick answer, right?
And a quick answer. No, right to the point. I like that. That's good.
Go.
That's good. Okay, perfect.
And
then, stemming from that, tell me about your time working with the KGB.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't. I'm still.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's still code clearance.
That's my apologies. That was my Ernest Hemingway notes. I am so sorry.
Oh my God!
I don't know how I got this so jumbled up. Ray, could you take the next one? I'm very sorry, Jason.
It's okay. I understand.
Okay. Yeah,
well, I get mistaken for Ernest Hemingway quite a bit.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
I don't see it.
No, the beard is very much there.
A Viking, yes.
No, I mean his beard is very.
Well, I can't tell you about that time either.
But had he be wearing an actual nautical hat, I could see the resemblance a lot more. He's lacking a lot of his.
For the few people that are listening and watching this interview is just for us. It's gonna be bad. Jason,
going to be
real question here. So we talk about that. We talk about credibility. We talk about your apparently apt attitude to spoil even your own material, which is kind of on par for you.
Yeah.
Craziest story that you heard that did not make the book because either your witness wasn't credible, or you just thought it was too fantastic and no one would believe it anyway. So
That's
something not in the book.
Not in the book
for obvious reasons.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. There's some wild stories in the book, but that being said, I think the wildest story I did not put in the book, actually, is I do touch on the topic of Satanists and their activities within the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
But actually quite numerous, which is surprising.
Yeah, well, again, I do go into that, but I think the one story that I got that I'm like, I just can't do this. I kind of allude to is there's a lot of people who believe that that the goat man that's seen out in Old Alton Bridge was sort of conjured, right? I make references. Maybe they opened a portal and creature stepped out. But there is a story, again, down around Cedar Hill, that there was an event, and they literally conjured Satan, like, or at least a high ranking demon, and that is the
How they
goat
won their
man.
state football championships?
Exactly. Yep, that's it.
Friday night.
Yep. No, I think that I think that's, again, I kind of allude to the fact that people have talked about stuff like that as an origin for some of it. I give it reference, but I do have a story about that, and it gets weird. I mean, really weird.
That's in the book, though, right?
Well, I allude to it, yes, but I mean the actual some of the story. Like, I don't talk about the one with Cedar Hill. The one for Old Alton Bridge, I do. But again, it's a reference. It's just people have made this claim as a probable origin by giving it just like a few lines. But as far as the weirdest story, it's in Cedar Hill, and it is that this group of Satanists that apparently has been haunting the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex for quite some time, full on conjured at least a high-ranking demon, and then it ran around. It was caught, and yeah, like that's why Cedar Hill has so many weird things happening.
So follow-up question.
That one entirely, like I omitted that one entirely. Although there's some others.
Follow-up question though, why omit that?
It was too many second-hand accounts and third-hand accounts for that one. Like legitimately, I'm still kind of interested in the story because it in many ways it has the fact that so many people talked about it, you almost want to give it credibility, but it was all second, third hand. I want to keep everything to first-hand accounts, right? Like I do reference works from other cryptozoologists and paranormal researchers who themselves took an account, right? There is an account that's really bizarre out of Cedar Hill that comes to us from John Gonzalez of True Horrors of Texas. He took
True
the account.
Horrors of Texas?
Yeah.
No, Sean, that was my book.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
you're thinking of my book.
Yeah.
I must have misheard. I apologize.
Yeah. And it was an
I
in-depth study as well.
Today. I don't know why everything's getting so out of context from me. I'm very sorry about that.
Yeah. You wonder if you
I
pour
love
your
how
third glass. I don't understand how this is happening.
Well, I mean, we all took, ideas on how we were going to handle your interview, and me and Sean both talked, and we realized it was best taken sauced.
Less than sober. No, I understand. Believe me, I do the same thing. No, so like I said, so I wanted to keep everything to first-hand accounts. So since these were all second and third-hand accounts, I didn't want to necessarily do it. But it was, like I said, and some of it just seemed too fantastic because it involved high-ranking individuals in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
And when you don't have first-hand accounts, that can get a little dicey. But I do appreciate the dedication towards the first-hand accounts versus hearsay.
Yeah,
that's good.
Now, anything that takes secondhand is taken from historical accounts, right? And I treat them as these are historical accounts, or these are these were the stories told at the time, and here's where they come from. So I do try and do my due diligence on that one, but I want to make sure everything was firsthand.
So what you're saying is, your book itself is great because it's a claim anyway, right? Like, especially when we're talking about subject matter like this. Right. These are first-hand stories that claim to have truth behind them. And what do you say to the non-believers or to people who are like, well, this is a great story, but what am I supposed to take from this? Like, how do you know? Yeah, I mean, you have those out there. You're going to have someone that goes,
right,
that's great that you found footprints. And how come that can't be from an animal we just haven't discovered? Why does it have to be Bigfoot? And what if those aren't his footprints? What if those are his actual handprints? And that's just how he walks.
So, okay, so there's two questions there. The first one is, because I really don't.
Sean is either
No, you're fine.
drinking or
Keep going.
he's like
Keep
handprints.
going.
Handprint, yeah.
Handprints.
Exactly. No. So okay. So let's talk about the footprints. I don't really address that in the book. Like I do want to keep. I sort of keep this book more in the historical section, right? It's more about the history and the stories and the interweaving of the tapestry around the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, less than necessarily its truthfulness. But the simple fact of the matter is, let's talk about, if we want to talk about the footprints, let's put the footprints aside for a second. I actually asked this question, what is Bigfoot? Like, we don't know. And the simple fact is we don't know what but people are seeing something, right?
When did the McLeans move to Texas?
Yeah, about the same time, ironically. I'm not saying people aren't seeing
Very interesting.
I do, but so here's the thing. It's called the feral human theory.
Jason, have you ever been known to do a handstand?
Once or twice. All
Have
right.
you ever walked out in a muddy pasture somewhere where you were?
I'm not saying I haven't.
Very interesting.
But
But no, seriously, please continue with the.
no, I'm sorry. I was just sitting there thinking. And you see where there's one single set of prints. This is then when I walked on my hands.
When I walked on my hands.
Jason, sorry.
This is right. See the footprint stop. It's because I carried you, and that set of footprints with the lines where I dragged you, kicking and screaming. No. So again, the simple fact of the matter is we do have people seeing something, right? We have accounts, and some of these accounts are clearly paranormal. They're not. It's not just Bigfoot that people are seeing. There are creatures that are explicitly paranormal that people are seeing. There's other animals that other people have seen, like living pterosaurs, giant catfish, giant alligator gar.
Pterosaurs are those when you have a venereal disease and it's a terror to have those type of sores, or what?
Yeah, it's the one that you had last year that you had to get that cream for. Same thing.
That was not cream. That was antibiotic.
Oh, okay. What was an antibiotic cream?
I wasn't freebasing that stuff, or maybe I was.
Yeah.
No, we're picking on you, but I mean, truthfully, man, like I think all of us on the show do have some sort of belief into what you're writing, for sure. So I say this because I'm trying to figure out, as someone who would be completely a non-believer into this stuff, what is it that do you have in your book enough, like you said, it's a lot about history and everything else. Is that enough to draw in the non-believer?
I think in many ways it's a primer. I got a chance to ask some interesting questions in the book. Like, so this book is not, hey, this is why you should believe in Bigfoot or living pterodactyls or any of that, right? That's not what it's about. It is about the fact that average everyday people are seeing the amazing and the fantastic. It is the fact that these sightings are intertwining themselves in the lives in the development of this wonderful metroplex that you and I, that we all three of us share, right? Like I said, this is very much a love letter to the DFW. We like I said, for example, we get a chance to talk about West, even though it's not technically it's not technically within the Metroplex region, but it's important to one of the stories.
The irony to that comment is I made a midnight run last night to West.
You should have told me. I could have gone. Never mind. My test comes back on Monday.
Yeah, I'm not having you anywhere near me for 2 weeks.
That's fine. But I get to talk about West. I get to talk about the origin of the Kloboznik, dude. I mean, it's little things like that. And don't get me wrong, I went out of my way to make that happen, obviously. But there really are threads where it's like, okay, for example, right? Like I said, Goatman, Sasquatch got sort of combined at Lake Worth. Well, but that's not the only iteration of that. Like I said, we have a bunch of urban legends springing off the name Goatman and the Sasquatch encounter. But because of the Czechoslovakian influence in the southern Dallas region, right? The southern counties like West, and particularly in Ellis County, we also have the creation of the Hinky Man, which is very clearly
How
another.
kinky is he?
Hinky, not kinky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, the Kinky Man is the guy that you hire every other weekend. Hinky Man, that's another version of Goat Man, but it's a very interesting and very unique take on it that I loved. And I'm like, because it was the weirdest one that I ran across, and I had to track down. I'm like, what the heck?
In the book, yes.
It's in the book. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I found it. I had to track it down, and that's when I ended up in West Texas, not West Texas, but West, Texas.
Yeah, the West, the city or town of West. Yes.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I can talk about fun things about Ellis. Like, there's a lot of things I think we don't know anymore because we're so sort of separated from the events of the turn of that last century. There's a lot of
the internet has destroyed a lot of mystery for a lot of people that they just don't know looking for anymore.
Right. So again,
nor do they share that information if it's not within their preordained circle of advertisement.
Yeah. No, exactly. And you know what? Going back to one question about what I left out of the book.
Fact. This is brought to you by Titan Comics.
Where I will be on October 31st signing. So
is there a time you will be there between? Is there a window of opportunity for them to come get your autograph on this fantastic new novel of yours?
Yes, I'll be there from opening until about 5.
Okay.
Good luck with that, Jeremy.
Or until Jeremy decides to kick my ass out, whichever one it is.
So from opening to about 12. Gotcha.
12, maybe 12:30. Yeah. No, so I'm sorry. So I want to go back to the question about the crazy, and then I want to go back to the handprints for just 2 seconds. I think one of the other craziest stories I left out because it was just so obviously an urban legend that was just some street kids was there was in Irving were called the Wheelies. Apparently they're these insane asylum runaway escapees that cut their own hands off and replaced them with wheels, and they would go up and down this particular area at night in Irving, kidnapping children. Like that was just such
like
an
obvious Hellraiser thing for some reason.
It really does. Like it does. I was like, okay, that's as crazy.
That's interesting though. That's good.
Yeah.
Or the thing from the Wizard of Oz.
I was gonna say, or it's the Wizard of Oz Part 2.
Yeah, Wizard of Oz Part 2. That's exactly what I thought. So yeah,
God, that movie gave me nightmares as a kid.
It really did. That was a weird one.
The Room Full.
No, that was a scary movie as a child. That was not a weird movie. That was abject terror.
Yes, the TikTok or that other one. Yeah, that whole thing was weird. But anyway,
where it comes from.
Yeah, that was one that I completely just. I'm like, this is too weird even for this book because it's too much of it's too an obvious creation, right? I wanted to. It was so localized. I wanted to deal with things that
not enough people have seen it. It's a very niche little piece of information.
I love the fact that you're sitting there saying with as much honesty as you can, that was just too weird for this book.
Yeah.
There are stories
on the subject matter of what you're writing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's some, like I said, there's some really legitimately weird stuff. But again, there were a few credible stories, and particularly taken from other researchers who were very credible. So it goes back to, is this book going to change anyone's minds? No. Is it, however, maybe if you're like, I don't know what any of this is necessarily about, it's a good sort of introduction to some of this because I get to talk about Davy Crockett's encounter down around Nacogdoches and Lufkin area. I get to talk about, again, a lot of this is just people seeing things and how they've affected the history of this conurbation that we call home. And so
it's informative.
It's informative. And again, I even asked certain key questions about the entire thing. Like, is Sasquatch a feral human? Is it some sort of relic hominid? Is it entirely paranormal? We don't know. Like these are the questions. Is it maybe all of the above? Right? We get to ask some questions and show that there have been times when people did mistake shamans or people at least on their versions of some sort of vision quest.
So you want to touch back? You want to touch back on the hands real fast before anything else, or
before too long? Yeah. So okay. here's
like Benny Hinn style.
Like Benny Hinn style, yes.
Oh, okay.
So when Sasquatch is healing people of demons, it's no. So here's the thing: like people, like there are people like
furry mitts, man.
Yes, they are. Well, would you want to stay possessed with that thing wrapping around your noggin? But there are. This isn't in the book, but there are people like Jeff Meldrum who are physical anthropologists who looked at. And there are people who are forensic experts who looked at, and they've been able to tell like what are fake footprints and what are just footprints we can't explain, but they're clearly made by some creature, right? So what we have is there are experts who said, look, there are footprints. They are humanoid. They are bipedal. They weigh over 800 pounds. They fall in different ranges that they can even put on a bell curve, which you would expect from a living, breathing population of creature. This is where I think to suggest that I think there's a difference between saying Bigfoot is a real thing and I know what it is, to saying, since we're naming them for the footprints, right? We have footprints that we can know that there is again, large, meaning heavy, bipedal creature that is leaving footprints that's unknown to science. And then saying, look, but then people are seeing creatures that would match that description and suggesting that this creature people are seeing is what's creating these footprints. That's not a leap. That is a logical progression, right? We have physical evidence that is legitimate. We can't dismiss it. Then there has to be something leaving them. Now, what that thing is, meaning where does it fit on, say, is it ape? Is it human? Is it something else? Is it what that is? We don't know. We don't have an answer for that, right? What we do have is physical evidence, and we have people seeing creatures that would fit the bill for being the thing leaving those footprints. So, like I said, but that's not a book I've written yet. I'll work on that one.
Just want to say, good luck to Jeremy when he gets you in the store. And the crowd.
So all right. You this isn't your first book, though. Is that correct, Jason?
No.
You've written some other pieces. Have you? And those are like, you have some posted to Amazon. Have you given any away? Like where do the people find these things?
Well, okay, so like I said, this one, this one will be Amazon, Barnes and Noble. If you live in the DFW area, you may actually run across it at Costco, and HEB. But again, but if you do live in the Dallas Metroplex area and you can make it up to Titan Comics on the 31st, you can run across them there as well.
And get it autographed.
So.
That's right.
Yeah, I have stickers for that too. Like there's autographed. It's like autographed copy. The stickers you can put on them too.
Maybe are you going to be doing just signings or maybe perhaps some illustrations?
There will be some illustrations with some of them. Yes, I think that there will be.
Okay. So I know
that's how I roll.
So going back to that, this not being your first book, were you discouraged at all from writing this book, given that your first major work was prosecuted for obscenity in the United Kingdom and outright banned in Italy? Or did you not have any kind of feelings about moving forward?
Sean.
Yes?
Check your notes. Now use your words.
I'm so sorry, Jason. That's Hubert Selby Jr. My apologies.
Okay.
I totally had that mixed up.
Okay.
Well, so again, I usually don't talk about that. Yeah, not yet, but that will come.
I feel it's coming.
Yeah.
Very sorry about that, everybody. My apologies.
It's okay. Yeah.
All right.
But no, some of the other works that you can find on Amazon, they tend to focus on eschatology, though, things like that.
Can you define that?
It is the study of the end time.
That's why he used that word.
It's the biblical study of the end time. So a lot of those books are more about that.
Gotcha.
Theological elements, whether or not Lucifer is actually Satan or is he another figure, things like that.
'Tis the season. Yeah.
Yeah, there are some. I mean, I could see some strong comparisons to the Kardashian family. So I could.
Which are there, and that's not by accident.
Sean,
right.
Can you pour me some, bud? I'm out.
No, I cannot. Can continue with some questions. All right. Listen. So we know that you were battling your addiction with morphine after the 3 years that you were following your surgery, where they removed 2 pieces of your lungs. But how did you end up involved in heroin?
I actually know this answer. Can I answer for him?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Okay. So what happened was during that time.
Whoa! Wait a minute. I'm so sorry. That's still Hubert Selby Jr.
But no, Jason went through that.
Yeah, wait.
I remember clearly. He went through that.
No, that's a fantastic coincidence. But no, my apologies.
It's not a coincidence. Where do you think he got it from?
Yeah.
You have some interesting idols.
Where do you think he got it from? Right? He saw it. Yeah. No.
Speaking of which, did anybody inspire you to start writing besides just you finding out you could start? You tried to start writing, short stories when you were in, your teens, or
You're welcome, Jason.
Yeah. No, honestly. So a lot of this, I mean, again, as far as writers that I find really influential would be it's Heinlein. Like, you don't get better than Robert A. Heinlein. But that having been said, a lot
That's
of this
subjective.
does come. Well, and again, it's my opinion. It's my opinion.
Right.
Is really my dad was always sort of encouraging me, like particularly once I started doing the editorials, and he's like, "You need to do more of this." And he passed a few years back, and it was just there was a confluence of events, and I'm like, you know what? Why don't I just? I saw the publisher. I saw some of the books they were putting out. I'm like, you know what? Why not? So I put together a package and sent it to them, and they came back and they said, "Yeah, let's do this." They're like, "It's a little out of our wheelhouse, but we'd like to do this. We like where you're coming from." So in many ways,
cool,
I think it was, yeah, it was sort of a, again, it was there was a lot of things that happened all at once, and it was like, okay, you know what? Let me take this step. I took a sort of a year sabbatical to really do a lot of these things, and that's what I did. So I decided to go ahead and go full force with it.
And was this before or after your second heart attack?
Third heart attack.
Actually, it was after. It was actually my third. Yeah, no.
I apologize. That was F. Scott Fitzgerald. Gentlemen, please forgive me. I am so sorry. I do not know I have these notes are all a jumble.
You are not going to have an interview like this. I'm going to close up the interview at this point. I
do have a few more questions for him if you wanted to go through those.
Oh, okay,
Please
Sean.
There's one very pressing question that I would like to get to the bottom of.
Let's go ahead. Let's see.
Okay.
All right. So there's a lot of
he has a very important time here, man.
There's a lot of controversy surrounding this next question, and I wanted to make sure that I figured the viewers wanted to really hear about it. Okay. So we all know that you allegedly shot and killed your second wife during a drunken attempt at William Tell. Okay.
Right.
But can you really tell us exactly what happened that night in Mexico City?
You know,
Jason, as your Mexican attorney, I am going to
son of a bitch. That was William S. Burroughs. I am so sorry, William S. Burroughs. My apologies. I am very sorry, Jason.
Jason McLean,
in this interview. This has been awful. I'm so sorry. My apologies.
Metroplex Monsters. Jason, one more time. Where can they find your work, your book, and everything else, bud?
Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com. In fact, I will be posting a link to all of those in our Facebook feed right after this show. So
excellent.
So again, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, whatever your preference is, or if you live in the Dallas Metroplex area, the DFW, on October 31st at Titan Comics, I will be there selling and signing. So we can
come see him.
If you'd rather get one, actually, one that has been thoroughly tampered with these filthy mitts, you can do that.
All right, that's Jason McLean. Thank you so much for joining us, Jason. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Jason. And apologies for all the
We're sorry. It's been a horrible interview.
That doesn't usually happen to me. It won't happen again.
We know your time is valuable, so we'll let you go. But thank you one more time for joining us today. That was a horrible interview, Sean. What were you thinking, man?
I got my questions mixed up. I don't know what to tell you.
I can't. My God, dude, that's just horrible. Wait. Our buddy Jason is actually saying he has time to join the show for the last 5 minutes.
Did he finish up with his other engagement?
Jason, you finished up with your other thing?
Yeah, no, I did. It was awesome. Wonderful. It was a beautiful show. Very well run. Very professional.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, it was a fantastic experience. No, so but they ended early, so I'm back.
Well,
so how did the author interview go?
You left and our show tanked. You came back and it tanked worse. I don't know.
I ruined the whole thing. I'm very.
Sean was horrible. It was
that went tits up fast. I'm really sorry about that.
And not in a good way.
Yeah, not in the good way. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, and Sean was drinking the whole show.
Did you guys know that Bill Murray claims that Hunter S. Thompson tied him to a chair and pushed him into a pool, and he almost drowned before Hunter S. Thompson got him out of the pool?
I have not heard that story, but I believe absolutely that happened.
It's just crazy,
I'm
man.
glad
Jason,
I didn't ask our last guest that question because that was on my list, and I
was that on your
almost
list?
totally screwed that one.
You'd already jacked up the questions anyway. It doesn't really matter.
Well, I wanted to ask him about his father's, sentencing to debtor's prison, but I just didn't think it was.
I don't think that's appropriate, man. Yeah,
wow, that happened to that guy. Wow, that's an interesting story. I need to find out about this author.
Shit, Charles Dickens. I am totally cocking this up.
Sean
Sorry,
Walker,
guys.
everybody.
Sorry,
so
guys.
you mistook the author for Charles Dickens?
I mean, he was
I
kind of a dick.
didn't know. I didn't mistake him for anybody. I was doing my research on various authors. Apparently, I just wrote down some facts I didn't realize didn't pertain to
I think
F.
you
Scott
wrote-
Fitzgerald,
I-
Charles Dickens, Hubert Selby Jr., Hunter S. Thompson, William Burroughs, Ernest Hemingway.
I think the
apparently
thing
Sylvia
there,
Plath. I don't know how I pulled that one off.
the thing there is that you're probably looking at real authors, and I don't know.
No, none of these people were named Arthur.
Yeah,
No, they were.
It's a great movie, though. I love that movie with.
Was this not what we were talking about?
No.
Huh.
What was that Brit's name?
Huh.
Real big in the '80s, ugly dude. What was his name?
Arthur?
No. The guy who did the movie Arthur.
Dudley Moore.
Dudley Moore.
Yes.
Great.
What happened to
Great
him? I
actor.
love that guy.
Well, he
sex-
died
sex-
eventually.
No,
Yeah.
sex change. Demi Moore. Married Bruce Willis.
Oh. Good to know. Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Did no one know that? But thank you. Appreciate you. Thanks. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Well played. Sir.
Appreciate it. That's it for our show. I don't think we can do. I don't.
Forever.
Yeah,
We're
forever.
done.
Yeah.
We're not
That
coming
was
back.
the end. We hope y'all enjoyed this final installment of Vagabond Nerds.
Oh my god. Yeah, we got nothing. Jason, in all seriousness, man, good luck on this book run that you got going. Hopefully we can get some more stuff out of it.
Same. Yep.
It's it's an accomplishment for one of us to actually be printed on the show and published. Also,
it's
kind
an
of scary.
accomplishment for one of us to do anything.
Yeah,
And it's so impressive. Yeah, congratulations, dude. Seriously.
We both love and molest you in every way possible. And yeah, I appreciate everything that you do. And probably the only time on the show that we will not treat you as mean as we normally do.
I would say probably the only time we'll let him talk as much as he did talk on the show.
Yeah.
Ray.
That's right. Well, first off, both Daniel and Brian are absolutely right. So, Daniel, we have not talked about the Dune remake, but that is a future topic. I'm probably going to be sad because, let's be honest, that's probably going to be pushed back from December. Brian, you have no idea. We're actually getting that done with just a pair of pliers and a sewing kit. So it's going to hurt.
Hand sewing kit.
Hand sewing kit. That's right. Sewing
from
kit.
the 1700s.
That's absolutely right. So
yeah, big needles.
It's going to be very much Forrest Gump.
They're huge.
In there.
Huge
needles.
Mama always said that needle would fall on me. She was right.
Yeah, actually,
okay,
I've got Doc Holliday's old sewing kit out in the back, so that's what we're using.
I got nothing with that.
Well, I found
we're
good.
Actually, it sounds like Ray's been playing with it.
It does sound like it has.
He's coughing quite a lot.
Twice.
Mm-hmm.
You know how that goes. All right, guys. So we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Will
yes.
Okay.
Wait.
Sure.
Hold on. Yeah. Actually, 2 weeks. What is 2 weeks from now?
Yeah. We should be back in 2 weeks. I think that's good.
The 17th.
I will not necessarily be here. I may have to call in because I'll be in Jefferson, Texas for the Bigfoot convention.
Oh, that is right.
We'll
and again, correct me if I'm wrong. That is a possibility because they still haven't actually said that's an official go, right? Or are they saying that that's a go? I thought COVID was, peaking as we head into that.
They're going to let it happen. I think there are some interesting things they're doing to allow it to happen.
Is it all outdoors? What's the deal?
Would make sense. Bigfoot convention.
Yeah, I've always thought it should be outdoors. But no, my understanding is it'll be inside, but there are some rules, like it's a limited capacity kind of a thing. So I'm not 100%. I think we'll find out when we get there, but there's going to be some stuff outside, is my understanding.
Okay, so that's the 17th. To Sean's point, we may have a guest on.
Yeah, we'll see. Tentative, right?
That has better pedigree.
Maybe we'll have another author. So we'll see what happens.
Offer.
I'm gonna give you an offer.
I cannot sit next to you. If I sit next to you, this is what happens.
I am sure it has nothing to do with the amount of alcohol you've taken during the show.
Actually, no, it doesn't, because I don't even have a buzz yet. I'm actually a little disappointed in that.
I know. You're fine. Anyway, Jason, 31st, you are at Titan. So signing and driving Jeremy nuts. Jeremy, I'll be there for a little bit trying to keep him in line. I cannot make any promises or guarantee. However, another thing that I'll be doing at Titan is checking out that brand new massive group of hardcovers, trade paperbacks that he just picked up, which I'm looking forward to actually going through.
Let me know what you find.
I will. I got to see a little bit of some of them, and
you know what I'm usually looking for. So
I know what you're looking for.
Yep.
So I was pretty impressed with some of the stuff I've already seen. When he says out of print stuff, it is hard stuff to find, and I was actually impressed at just the part 1 video that he posted.
Nice.
Anyway, guys,
once my test is done, I'm heading over there. once I know whether or not I had that good Rona. As long as it's
you probably didn't, but it's listen, biggest thing is I'm glad you went and just got tested just because.
Yeah. Not because you necessarily had to, but because you were being not the douche that some people are, and just double checking, man, making sure everyone around you is safe. So good on you, mate. All right, guys, that is it for today's show. Jason, do you want to sign us out, buddy?
Yes. Again, Jeremy over at Titan Comics, we apologize for this. But if y'all would like to support him, again,
this. He left.
Is below. No, I know. Again, TitanComics.com, phone number, address is below. Please go hit him up for comics, statues, and other geek apparel and paraphernalia. Accoutrement. If y'all want to get a hold of us, it is TitanComics@gmail.com. No, hold on. That's his.
Try that again, McLean.
Ours is vagabondnerds@gmail.com. Yeah, he's the one who's been drinking. I know it's terrible. Right. Again, we'll be here. Well, at least they'll be here in 2 weeks. And again, till then, thanks for putting up with us. Share us, like, and follow, and subscribe.
All right.
Turn on your notifications so you can catch us when we go live.
We are also, not just on YouTube, but also you can find us while we're testing out the waters, possibly on AVersion TV on YouTube. So if you want to go out there, give them a quick shout out.
Where can they find AVersion TV? Is that YouTube or is that Twitch?
YouTube.
Where is that?
That is going to be on YouTube.
Cool.
Okay. So they got a lot of great shows on there as well. So we will catch you later.